A Course in Miracles, Lesson 259. Let me remember that there is no sin. Sin is the only thought that makes the goal of God seem unattainable. What else could blind us to the obvious and make the strange and the distorted seem more clear? What else but sin engenders our attacks? What else but sin could be the source of guilt, demanding punishment and suffering? And what but sin could be the source of fear, obscuring God's creation, giving love the attributes of fear and of attack? Father, I would not be insane today. I would not be afraid of love, nor seek for refuge in its opposite. For love can have no opposite. You are the source of everything there is, and everything that is remains with you and you with it. Lesson 259. Let me remember that there is no sin. Sin as succor in need. Sin is the ego's favorite trick because it makes the impossible seem real. The acronym succor in need nails it. To be a sucker is to be gullible, to buy into the con. The ego sells you the lie of separation and you fall for it. Then once you believe it, you think you need something to fill the gap. You think you need approval, money, a body, protection, salvation in time. The whole story of need grows out of the single gullibility of believing in sin. It's like a carnival scam. You toss a ring onto a bottle thinking you'll win a prize, but the game is rigged. Believing in sin is playing a game that cannot be won because the rules were written by a liar. The goal of God. The lesson says sin makes the goal of God seem unattainable. The goal of God is peace. It is union, wholeness, oneness. Not someday, not after death, not if you measure up, but now. But when you believe in sin, God's goal looks like a mountaintop forever out of reach. You keep climbing, slipping, and never arriving. But that's perception, not reality. The truth is the mountaintop is not far away. It's under your feet. The seeming distance was invented by guilt. The Course says God's goal has not moved. It only looks far when you blind yourself with judgment, blindness and the obvious. What else could blind us to the obvious? What's the obvious? That love is here right now. That peace is always present. But sin blinds by changing the lens of vision. Think of looking at the world through a cracked funhouse mirror. The reflection is warped. A friend smiles, but in the distorted glass it looks like a sneer. That's what the belief in sin does. It blinds you to what's right in front of you by making innocence look like guilt and safety look like threat. Strange and distorted. What else could make the strange and distorted seem clear? Sin makes what is foreign feel familiar. Violence becomes justice. Sacrifice becomes love. Death becomes natural. It's like living in a house where all the pictures are hung crooked. Eventually you stop noticing and think that's how pictures are supposed to be. The ego's distortion becomes the norm. Meanwhile, what is truly normal, love without condition, feels alien. Engenders attacks. What else but sin engenders our attacks? To engender is to give rise, like a seed sprouting into a tree. Belief in sin is the seed. Attack is the fruit. For example, someone cuts you off in traffic. Do you get angry because of the car? No. You get angry because somewhere deep down, guilt has already made you unsafe. The car is just the spark that lights what's already burning. Think of projection as a hot potato. Guilt is intolerable, so you toss it onto someone else through attack. But tossing the potato never cools it. It just keeps the game going. Guilt, punishment, and suffering. What else but sin could be the source of guilt, demanding punishment and suffering? When you believe you sinned, you expect punishment. If no one else punishes you, you punish yourself. Examples: sabotaging relationships, overeating, procrastinating, getting sick. The mind whispers, You deserve this. That's the demand for suffering. It's like a courtroom in your head with a judge who never adjourns. The verdict is always guilty. And the sentence is always more suffering. But the entire courtroom is imagined. Fear and obscuring God's creation. What but sin could be the source of fear, obscuring God's creation? God's creation is love, joy, innocence, eternal life. But if you believe in sin, you see creation through fear. Then love looks like danger. Example: a friend offers closeness, but it feels threatening. Intimacy feels like exposure. Commitment feels like loss of freedom. You back away, afraid of the very thing that could heal. That's obscuring God's creation. Giving love the attributes of fear and attack is like seeing the sun and calling it fire. The warmth that would nourish you now seems deadly. Insanity versus sanity. Father, I would not be insane today. Insanity in the Course is not wild behavior. It is believing in what isn't real. War is insanity. Jealousy is insanity. Worrying about a future that never comes is insanity. Sanity is to rest in truth. Sanity is to laugh at the idea that what God created perfect could be broken. Sanity is forgiveness, the quiet recognition that nothing has gone wrong. Afraid of love. I would not be afraid of love. What does it look like to be afraid of love? It looks like avoiding forgiveness because it feels like weakness. It looks like holding on to grudges because letting them go feels unsafe. It looks like sabotaging intimacy because closeness threatens the ego's walls. To the ego, love is the enemy because love ends separation. And without separation, the ego does not exist. So fear of love is really fear of losing the little self you think you are. Refuge in the opposite. Nor seek refuge in its opposite. When you don't rest in love, you hide in fear. You build fortresses of control. You numb yourself with entertainment, substances, or busyness. You hide in anger because vulnerability feels unbearable. But the Course reminds us, love has no opposite. Fear, anger, control, all are shadows of nothing. To seek refuge in them is like building a house on fog. It can never stand. The source of everything. You are the source of everything there is. This line points to God as the only source. Nothing real has left its source. The wave has not left the ocean. The sunbeam has not left the sun. And if God is with me, then I am with God. There is no gap. No succor in need. Only a son who remembers his source. So lesson 259 becomes the reminder that sin is not a force but a thought, a sucker's trick. It is gullibility plus need, but both dissolve when you remember love. The only blindness is the choice to keep looking at a crooked picture. The only insanity is believing in what never happened. The only fear is of the love that has already won. Rod Serling might put it this way: a sucker in need believes in separation. A holy Son of God remembers oneness. The difference between the two is not in the world you see, but in the mind that chooses what it wants to see. And in that choice lies freedom, not in some distant tomorrow, but here, now, when you remember there is no sin, in the Twilight Zone.